Hello and welcome to another video. If you're new around here, my name is the Diamond Bullet. What a stupid race it was around the Yas Marina circuit. Now, it's all full of questionable moments from the FIA, but all in all, I still don't understand what's actually gone on. So going into this race, they added the rule that if Lewis was to purposely crash into or push the other one wide, they'd lose points. They didn't stick to that because on the first lap, Verstappen pushed Lewis wide, but Lewis kept the lead, and that pissed off Red Bull. But Lewis slowed down by the end of lap 1 to give back any time that he gained. Led every single lap pretty much, apart from when he pitted. And then, like 2 laps after that, he got past Perez. And then stayed on those hard tyres all the way to the end. A virtual safety car, the Red Bull of Max pit under, and the safety car, the Red Bull of Max pit under. They started by saying that the lapped cars aren't allowed to pass, then only let the 5 that were between Hamilton and Verstappen pass, the safety car, and then had the race start straight after on the final lap. And then obviously, with Lewis being on hards and Verstappen being on fresh softs, it was a no-brainer. Of course Max was going to win from that point. All over the internet you're going to see, oh, this should have been this should have been this. But I think overall it proves that the FIA and Red Bull have some kind of chummy friendship, because the amount of incidents that Verstappen has gotten away with this year, or this season, it's ridiculous. And then you've got the incidents that Hamilton's had, where he wasn't even completely at fault for and still got a penalty. Like, it's the way of the sport, I guess, but the fact that so much goes unpunished, and it led to obviously level pegging into the final race of the championship. And I am making this video straight after the race because of how pissed off I am. And I've been messaging Cody, who watched the race, Naomi, who's at work, filling her in on all the parts of the race, but it's ridiculous, and they need to get this shit sorted, because why only let 5 pass instead of all of them? And why allow for a chance for Max to win because of that choice? And the only reason I think they let those 5 cars pass is because Red Bull complained that they said that they're not going to do that. Because that's the way of Red Bull. They complain about any little thing that gives them a disadvantage. And in my opinion, if they were going to let the lapped cars pass, as Toto Wolff said, they're supposed to wait a lap. Typically, they normally wait a lap from the lapped cars passing to the race start, which would mean that the race would end under a safety car and Lewis would be champion. That's what Mercedes said. And I agree with that. They shouldn't let only 5 of the lapped cars through, not all of them. Start the race that same lap, causing a stupid advantage for Verstappen in his Red Bull. It's honestly ridiculous the way that they've done this race. And you're going to see it all over social media. More or less, it's going to be all over TikTok, where they're going to say Hamilton should have been disqualified for gaining an advantage on this corner, and I know that's what's going to happen because that's all they say nowadays, Max Verstappen fans. Even though he wins the race, they'll still have a problem with some element of the race. And then you'll have the Lewis Hamilton fans who'll be like, well, Lewis should have clearly won. And then you get the middlemen like me that believe that Lewis should have won. Just based off of the facts alone. Now, I might not have much opinion into this kind of thing. I only race on the games. And even then, I'm not that good. Well, I say I'm not that good. But even then, like, I'm like the most aggressive person I can be. But all in all, if the rule of the incidents had stuck throughout the season, I don't think Max Verstappen or Lewis Hamilton would be world champion. Because every race there's been incidents of pushing each other off the track, crashing into each other, whether it's deliberate or not. That's how it's been all season. And it's not a good way to do it. And I'm absolutely pissed off. And there's nothing I can do about it but say my opinion. My Mercedes had the pace, the overall pace advantage, and then Nicholas Latifi crashes into a wall, putting both Williams out alongside both Alfa Romeos, and I'm still not sure why they took Sergio Perez out and retired the car. There didn't seem to be an issue. Perez was confused. I think they took Perez out. Perez was in third. They took Perez out so he wasn't to cause issues for Verstappen. That's what I think. Because there was no issues with his car, no issues with his tyres, there was no issues with Perez at all to warrant a retirement, other than he could potentially cause issues with Verstappen overtaking Hamilton on the final lap. Which further proves that Red Bull focus all of their attention on Verstappen and don't give a shit about the second driver, because they keep changing the second driver. They've gone through so many drivers because the car is worked around Verstappen's driving style. Clearly seen from this race, they focus more on Verstappen, and you look at teams like Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. They've done 101 races together. Well, 100 races together, but it's Bottas's 101st race and final for Mercedes. And it's crazy because it's not something that they keep changing, and that's one of the issues with Red Bull, I think. And the fact remains that I think that Max Verstappen shouldn't have won, and if any of the rules that they added for this race were in play all season, Max Verstappen and Hamilton would definitely not have won, because of the amount of incidents would amount up to obviously the points they would lose, and they would lose their nearly 100-point lead to Sergio Perez. So it's what it is, I guess. Like I said, there's nothing I can do about it, but I do want to complain as soon as I can while it's fresh, and that's the way it is. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm a middleman. I'm not a Max Verstappen or Lewis Hamilton fan. I used to be Hamilton. But then Norris joined the sport, so Norris all the way. But here's to hoping next season gets the FIA in fucking order, because the amount of controversy that's gone on this season, and the amount the fans have just been absolute pricks all season towards Hamilton, towards Verstappen, towards Mazepin, towards everyone. It's caused issues where, because of Silverstone, Lewis Hamilton was racially attacked by the fans of Max Verstappen. And that's something we need out of the sport. It's not something that should be allowed. We're a community. They've done a We Race Together thing where they've supported everyone. They want to have equal rights for everyone on the planet. That's what they race for. And then you get the fans of the sport that act like that. And it's so frustrating when I'm going through TikTok. I don't really like TikTok. Or when I'm going through all these different people's opinions, and most of the time their opinions are false anyway. Like at Monza, the crash there, everyone blamed that said that it's Hamilton's fault for pushing Verstappen wide, and they didn't read any of the documentation, obviously, because they measure chicanes as one corner. And if you're significantly ahead at the start of the chicane, like in a normal corner, you don't have to leave space for the person behind you, which Hamilton was, which is why Verstappen got the penalty instead of Hamilton. And even then, he got a 3-place grid penalty, which is like 0.3 seconds. And they were all furious with that, saying that's a worse penalty than a 10-second penalty. And no, if it was a 10-second, that's the difference from second to like 14th nowadays, or even last in some cases. It's not something that I like. I didn't like the outcome. I didn't like pretty much any part of the race. But this is true. If they're going to keep doing this, where they're going to keep changing their mind because Red Bull cry, then fans are going to start leaving the sport and finding something else to go to. And that is something I can say for sure will happen. And then it'll just become one of those sports that don't get watched anymore. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you for coming out and joining me. Express your thoughts in the comments if you feel like it. I will see you in the next one. Bye!